In this video, we'll show how to view insurance deduction history in MyTRS. There are written instructions for this process available on our website under Employers and Online Training and Guides. So if you click on Employers, you can click on Online Training and Guides. And again, this is our Online Training and Guides page. You'll see some videos at the top. Scroll down, you'll see a manual for active deduction reporting and one for retiree insurance. And this is the booklet where those instructions are going to be. So coming back to MyTRS here and from the home screen. So this is going to be a situation where we're looking up a insurance deduction history for a member. So we're going to be doing this for a couple reasons. We either just completed a transaction that has a rebill, or possibly retirees just calling us up and saying, hey, I have a question on the deductions you took. Or maybe you're doing some research because you're afraid you looked at your deduction history or your monthly deduction reports, maybe the last couple months, maybe you're taking over a new position, and you're starting to wonder if the right deductions were coming out from somebody. So we're going to go to insurance deduction history. Now, we're going to use a member from another video, Barbara Blackbird. And if you've watched all the videos, you might recognize Barbara. She was in one of our previous or other recorded videos. Now, we're looking up Barbara. And I should say that when you're doing a search, just like any of the searches in this process, you can search by either name, social security number, or MTRS membership number. We brought her account up, and now this is her account, and you can see a few things going on here. First, there are three kinds of transactions, or three types. So the first one's called a premium bill. What a premium bill is, as shown here, as well as down here, and you'll see that the identifier is an e-bill versus a rebill. And what a premium bill is a premium bill is basically going to be billing the member for their coverage. And when you see it as an e-bill, that's the transaction that gets created during our retiree payroll. Now, the offsetting transaction to that is called a disbursement deduction. And that's going to be our retiree payroll itself satisfying each deduction that's required for the member. So if they have three kinds of insurance, you'll see three disbursements for each premium rebill. For each premium bill. Now, a rebill is the system rebilling or billing again a person for any period of time. Maybe their deductions change. So if you've watched the video that Barbara is in before, you'll see that she had two changes. One was a change and the other one was a correction, and both of which generated a rebill, which means she was, the deductions or the charges for that time period were recalculated. Now, whenever you have a rebill, you're going to see that these show up in brackets and they're red. And the reason for that is it's going to be a refund to the member. In Barbara's case, she was picking a plan that was cheaper and it was retroactive because her change was missed from being entered in a timely manner. If you were entering in the same sort of transaction with retroactive changes, however, it resulted in a bill, it would look almost exactly the same, except the balance amount here would show in black. And, it's a nice mnemonic memory device, but just remember that red means refund and black means bill. So this amount we know is going to be a refund because it's showing in red and again in sort of the accounting format with brackets. If it were billing Barbara for even more money, again, it would show up as black. And you can see that there's a balance because they're open transactions, meaning our retiree payroll hasn't processed them yet. You'll see that all of these other transactions, possibly as far back as 2014, are all closed, and that's because they've already been processed. So these are the deductions Barbara's been having all along. However, just because they're closed doesn't mean they're not viewable. If you go to any of the links for any of these transactions and simply click on the link number here, you can see the history that it happened. So in this particular case, again, you can see it categorically that in the past, Barbara had a total deduction of $381.06. There was a medical portion for $330, basic life of $2.49, and $47 for dental. And you can see the three other transactions where basically this is the retiree payroll sort of satisfying each required deduction. Okay, so if you need to look up any of your retirees, you can see the real transactions by going into these screens. And if you want to go link by link, at the top here, you'll see what it's referred to as breadcrumbs. So we're going to go up one layer, and we're right back in Barbara's account. Now, if you accidentally click over here, it's not a big deal. You can just cycle back into her account. But you want to click up here to, kind of go back a step. Now, if we're looking at a rebill amount, You'll see the identifier out here, but if you'd like to go into the transaction level detail, again, you can see the day that it was processed on. Now this is actually going to show you a backdate of when the activity starts, okay? But the rebill here is going to show you what the period is for. So this is the recalculation of the February 2024 deduction. And if we click back into insurance transactions, we can see that the activity date, so the date that it goes back to is February 1st. However, the transaction date, the date we processed it, the day I'm recording this video, is actually March 27th. And you can see this for any, both active or after they get processed, you'll see them closed, but these line items will remain available on Barbara's account for as long as she's in my dress. Well, this is the process of looking up someone's account. You can also export the details on this screen. However, as you'll see here, the balances are zero. So being able to export them all together, even though that would be very helpful, unfortunately isn't currently an option to have it populate with what the deductions all were. This is something MTRS is thinking about, and hopefully we'll be able to offer it in the future. Thanks again for watching.